Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders or even yourself has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.
All right, we have city attorney's report for closed session items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There was no reportable action taken in closed session.
Thank you. Do we have any agenda modifications? Anybody on council? Good, all right. Now the good part, we have four things, and what's nice is we get to take care of our own 4 times tonight. So it's really good. We're gonna start by having the Police Chief Brian Baker come on down, and the post law enforcement consultant Marty Picone come on down, and if we may, the rest of us join them.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm Marty Picone. I am a regional consultant with the Commission on Peace Officer Standards and Training. We are a compliance agency in the state that works with our law enforcement partners at agencies throughout the state, including Yuba City Police Department. And I'm here tonight to present the chief with an executive certificate that he's earned. But before I do that, I'd just like to give you a quick snapshot of his law enforcement career, which began with the Yuba City Police Department back in 1998 as a reserve officer. Then within a year, he was appointed full-time as a police officer with the police department. Then in 2002, he was assigned as a detective. And then he began his promotions. In December of 2005, promoted to sergeant. In July of 2016, promoted to lieutenant. In June of 2019, promoted to commander. And then finally, as your chief of police on September 29th, 2021. So to qualify for the certificate, the chief would have had to have completed at least 60 semester units of college, which he aced in spades by not only getting his bachelor's degree, but also a Master of Science degree from Cal State Long Beach. He would have had to also complete Post's 80-hour executive development course, which he did. And then he would have had to have been a head of agency, in this case, chief of police, for at least 2 years, which he's done, thus qualifying for the executive certificate. So, on behalf of the executive director of Post, Manny Alvarez, I'd like to present to the chief his executive certificate. Thank you. Congratulations.
So Ashman, I owe you for this. So thank you, Marty, for coming out. I've had the pleasure of working with Marty for about the last 7 years. I know this is going to be hard to believe, but Marty works for a regulatory agency with the state of California, and he's a pleasure to deal with. He keeps us on our toes, and when he comes to do his audit, he provides us with good guidance and ways to keep being better as an organization. Second, I want to thank the men and women of the Yuba City Police Department that are here tonight for allowing me to be your chief of police, and also the community that's here as well. It's an honor to work for such a great organization. So thank you very much.
Not so fast.
I tried.
And Mr. Picone, my apologies for mispronouncing your name. I meant to get with you earlier, but I forgot. We're doing a picture. All right. Well, no, we have more stuff for you. Laura Nicholson, representing Senator Neelio and Assemblyman Gallagher.
Good evening. On behalf of Senator Nilo and Assemblyman Gallagher, it is my honor and privilege to present you with this certificate of recognition, recognizing the training that you have taken, your oath of office, and the service that you provide to the community, for which we thank you.
All right, Mr. Morgan, David Morgan, representing Congressman LaMalfa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. But wait, there's more.
No picture.
No picture, okay. David with Congressman Doug LaMalfa's office, honored to present you with a special congressional certificate recognizing your post-training. We appreciate the hard work and leadership that you've done for the city of Yuba City. You're a special part that makes this community what it is, and we thank you for everything you've done. And on behalf of the grateful district, we appreciate you. So thank you.
All right, now you can go. Congratulations and thank you very much. All right, brother. Congrats. And we're going to take, there's a lot of blue in here, so we're going to take 30 seconds in case anybody wanted to step out. If not, we can move on. Nope. All right, good. So we already wrote your names down if you left. That was a joke, you guys. Come on. We're supposed to be a fun time here. All right, Mr. Robert McMains, come on down. Congratulations. Bring your family if they would care to come. No? You're more than welcome. It's all coming to a head. We can ask someone to do that, but okay, that's fine. All right, so you all, Mr. Robert McMains here, looking good in a suit. How do you feel in a suit? You're probably not used to it. Yeah, much better. No Kevlar this time, so that's good. All right, in recognition of your retirement, Robert, whereas Robert McMains started his law enforcement career as a police officer with the city of Gridley on October 1st, 2004, and on November 25th, 2006, he was hired as a police officer by the city of Yuba City. And he has held the positions of patrol officer and school resource officer. Officer McMahon has served as an example of a team player in his capacity as employee of the city of Yuba City. Robert has received 3 Chiefs Unit of the Year awards, 2 Police Commendation Ribbons, the Police Fitness Ribbon, and a Division Commander Letter of Recognition. Whereas Officer McMahon kept faith with the public, he has so honorably served for more than 19 years. And now, therefore, let it be resolved that I, Sean Harris, Mayor of the City of Yuba City, and on behalf of the entire City Council and the citizens we serve, do hereby congratulate Officer Robert McMains on the occasion of his honorable retirement, effective December 30th, 2023. We wish Officer McMains and his family the very best in the future. So congratulations very much. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you all for coming. Do I need the mic? Thank you all for coming. It's been a pleasure serving the city of Yuba City for the last 17 years. I look forward to continuing to live in this community for a long time. Thank you.
Let's share some words you probably would. Would you step over here?
Good evening. On behalf of Senator Nilo and Assemblyman Gallagher, on the occasion of your retirement, it is truly an honor to present you with this joint resolution of recognition of your career, your service, everything that you have done for this community, known and unknown, to take care of us. And we really thank you and wish you all the best in your retirement.
Won't be here all night, will we? David again with Congressman LaMalva's office, here to present a special certificate recognizing your 19 years of service to not only the city of Yuba City, but the people of the North State. We greatly appreciate your work and your commitment to staying in our community and your service. So thank you.
And thank you. You know, Laura mentioned the things that he's done, known and unknown. And I guarantee, even though we know a lot of great deal about some of the good things, and same thing with Steve, the unknowns is what matters. And I tell you, there's a lot of unknowns when it comes to that career. And your family right there deserves a round of applause too, I think, because they put in a lot. So it's a big deal, a really big deal. And you made it through the other side, brother. Congratulations. Congratulations. Next, this is a fun day here. Lieutenant Stephen Thornton, come on down. Off and on, off and on, off and on. It's crazy. Okay, so Stephen Thornton, Police Lieutenant, in recognition of your retirement, the day has come. Stephen Thornton was hired as a police officer by the city of Yuba City on March 25th, 1989. He has held the positions of police officer, police sergeant, and police lieutenant. Early in his career, Stephen Thornton was instrumental in implementation of the police canine program. He advocated for and initiated both the critical incident stress management program and the wellness program within the Yuba City Police Department. Lieutenant Thornton has served as an example of a leader. Stephen has received 5 Chiefs Unit of the Year awards, 3 Police Achievement Ribbons, 2 Police Fitness Ribbons, a Police Commendation Medal, a Unit Commendation with V Victor Device Ribbon, and the Department Medal of Valor. Whereas Stephen Thornton kept his faith with the public, he so honorably served for more than 34 years. It's a chunk. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Sean Harris, Mayor of the City of Yuba City, on behalf of the entire council and citizens we serve, do hereby congratulate Lieutenant Stephen Thornton on the occasion of his honorable retirement effective December 30th, 2023. I wish Lieutenant Thornton and his family the very, very best in the future. Congratulations, sir. All right, and I've been ventured to guess that we have something else here, Laura. Oh, sorry, my bad.
By now, you know who I am. But it still bears repeating. On behalf of Senator Nilo, Assemblyman Gallagher, we are here on the occasion of your retirement to honor you, thank you, and just wish you all the best in your retirement, but particularly the known and the unknown, as we will share now, of your career and your family and everyone who's here with you. So congratulations and enjoy.
She takes all my lines, I swear. So, as has been said, thank you for your 34 years of service. We greatly appreciate everything you've done. And I hope you can accept a small token of appreciation from Congressman LaMalfa on behalf of what you've done here. Thank you.
All right, how about council? We get in the back like we've done before. I see you have a lot of friends out here. And I would invite what? I will. Right after we have Steve say a couple words, you guys come down. And we'd love to have a group photo because this is like, 34 years is a chunk, and here he is standing here in the flesh with a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience and a lot of service behind him. And we owe that to him to thank him. So come on down when you're done. You didn't dodge it. You can thank the vice mayor for reminding me. All right.
First of all, thank you for everybody that came out and supported this. It's been an honor, and it's been an honor and a privilege to serve the city of Yuba City and the residents here for so long with the support of the men and women of the Yuba City Police Department. I especially want to thank my wife and my family, the support, love that they have shown over the years, along with the patience of this job. That's all I'm getting at.
Well, you got a lot out. Good for you. You guys want a group photo of both of you? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Come on down.
Exactly. By your dad. Definitely.
If Steve's family wants to come on down. Absolutely, sure. All right, Stephanie and Sharon, there they are.
We're in trouble already. I'll have to give everybody kisses.
No.
Do that.
Exactly.
You're a bunch of big kids.
Yeah. Hi,
Put your
darling.
face or your neck.
All right. Perfect.
Uh-oh.
All right, so we are welcoming here Stephanie Pasquale, Sharon Souza, and of course Michael Pasquale for New Adventures Preschool 50th anniversary. That's huge too. Whereas the city of Yuba City would like to celebrate and recognize New Adventures Preschool in APS, longtime proprietors Stephanie and Michael Pasquale for 50 years of business. Back in 1973, a German woman, Margaret Feiler, who started running a preschool, needed to step back for family reasons. 974 Sharon. Oh, in 1970. No, okay. 1974, Sharon Souza acquired the preschool and renamed it New Adventures Preschool Incorporated. Stephanie Souza Pasquale, the daughter of Sharon Souza, became part of New Adventures team as a teacher and a facilitator for many years. In 2003, Stephanie and Michael Pasquale purchased the business so that Sharon could retire. New Adventures Preschool developed several programs tailored for each age category, ranging from 2 to 5 years old. Stephanie and Michael watched many students graduate from NAPS and then see those children as adults bring their own children to attend the same school. Whereas, I like you. Whereas, at the very core of New Adventures Preschool is the beloved Uncle Mike, aka Councilmember Pasquale and Miss Stephanie. And whereas, congratulations to the Souza Pasquale family and passing the torch of this wonderful establishment in Yuba City to the new owners and to New Adventures Preschool Incorporated for being one of the longest standing preschools in Yuba City. Congratulations on your 50-year anniversary. Now, therefore, be resolved that I, Sean Harris, Mayor of the City of Yuba City, and on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby congratulate New Adventures Preschool Incorporated on their 50-year anniversary. Let's give them a hand. Take a picture. Excellent. 50 years, man. All right. Would you say anything? Yes, I know you do.
Every day's a new day. I will not sing and refrain from that. I see some parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles, and daddies, and a lot of the men in blue have been parents at my school. This, as Uncle Mike would say, Funyun and Eshy. So we are blessed and honored to receive this lovely and kind award. New Adventures is all the better for the amazing people that have walked through our doors and the impact that all of you have made on me and my mother and Michael is pretty darn swell. And I thank each and every one of you for the support and love you've given that little school that at one point held 102 people, 102 kids. So that was kind of a rock concert in its own little way. And again, we thank you for your love and support over the many years. I've only retired, how many times?
I fired you 3.
Yeah, you fired me 3. I retired 8 times and you fired me 3, right? Yes, it has been a real pleasure. To pass it on to my daughter and to my son-in-law was the best thing that ever happened because she made it and he made it the best, the very best. Thank you. You're welcome. I love you. I love you too. Okay. New Adventures now lives on with Katie Earlrich as the owner and director, and Vicki Wheaton as our assistant director, and they will keep it strong and thriving and the awesome place that it's always been. And I'm still there till June, and then I'm having surgeries for my knees. Thank you. And then I'll sing. I'll sing too. Can I come up here and sing
Sure.
one meeting?
Come on down.
Off?
You bet.
Okay. I think the last
3.
meeting you had that you needed someone to sing a little bit. Do a little razzmatazz. Okay. I'm your girl. I'm your girl.
Did we already do a photo? Can't remember. We did? We did? All right. Well, thank you very much. One more hand. Get out.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, that was all nice. All 4 things were great. We're moving on to, okay, good. second. All right, we're moving on to item number 5, public communication, appearance of interested citizens. You are welcome and encouraged to participate in this meeting. Public comment is taken on action items appearing on the consent calendar or business items on the agenda when they are called. Public comment on any other items within the scope of the city's jurisdiction, including items not listed on the agenda, will be considered at this time. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Members of the public submitting written requests at least 24 hours prior to the meeting will be allotted 5 minutes to comment per speaker. Repetitive comments may be limited, and large groups are encouraged to select representatives to express the opinions of the group. Do we have any comments from the public? Okay. And so that's on agenda. Yeah, David Cunin. There you are.
Push the button. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council for allowing me just to speak for a couple of minutes. I just wanted to thank the city staff and all the incredible things they did this year, particularly the Temple, Fifth Street Bridge, helping out with a little matter on the backside of a neighboring property, and you city council as well. And so I wanted to bear this very inexpensive baking good that I made in my own oven. It cost me $5 in materials and my own labor. So that's probably one of the few things I do. I do bake. And it's called the Dave Cunin Colosso Cookie. And it's chocolate chip and it's not gluten-free. So enjoy it, staff, and share. Hopefully it's not, and it stays soft as well. It never goes hard, but I make it a special way so it doesn't ever go hard. So on behalf of just myself, thank you for everything you're doing, and here you go. All right. Where should I take it? I don't know where to. Is there a boat you got to take to receive it or something? No. All right. I'll give it to her. She'll put it in your hands. I didn't bring milk, so sorry.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. All right. Any other public comment about anything? All right. And we're going to go to consent calendar. All matters listed on our consent calendar are considered to be routine and can be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items prior to the time that council votes on the motion unless members of the city council request specific items to be discussed or removed from the consent calendar for individual action. We have items, this is number 6 through 21. We have a speaker card request here from John Buckland regarding item number 19. Come on down, sir. And anybody else would like to speak on any matters involving on the consent calendar, please feel free to step up behind John.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Thanks for this opportunity to come and speak. This is regarding the traffic calming that is being proposed for the Fifth Street Bridge. First, let me tell you my experience with the Fifth Street Bridge. I cross over it 4 times a week at between 7 and 7:15 every morning. And the speeds going eastbound over that bridge are incredibly high. If you're trying to do 35 miles an hour as posted, you're going to be passed and cut off each time you go over the bridge. You're probably going to get the finger occasionally because you're slowing people down. It's posted, and I just want to take the time to kind of put this in perspective. It's posted at 35. That means the vehicles are moving at 51 feet per second. That's true velocity. The average that's going on up there is 66 feet per second. That's 45 miles an hour. I have seen and witnessed frequently speeds upwards of 65 miles an hour going over that bridge, sometimes even higher. That's 92 feet per second. All of these measurements in the proposal to put up signage and all of that, There's one sign that matters on that bridge. That's the posted speed limit. You can put up all the delineators. Oh, and by the way, order more because they're going to get knocked down. Delineators are expendable and they're going to go flying through the air. I would venture to guess they're going to be put up in the mid-January. Look to replace them the next week because these cars are frequently the definition of lane diving. A lane change takes approximately 2 seconds to make. That's at a lower speed. And they're already consuming upwards of 180 feet at high speed. On the average speed, they're consuming 132 feet to make that lane change. So one of the proposals that I saw and the design of that bridge, I'm going to go into one other component, and that's the merge lane onto the bridge eastbound from Bridge Street. That's about 175-degree turn, I believe, something like that. That lane was designed for 35 miles an hour. When you have vehicles approaching that lane in the right-hand lane at 65, these people are getting cut off, trying just to simply merge onto the bridge and go do their business over on the other side. So what I'm asking is that have some consideration. Enforcement is paramount to the situation up there. Second to that, and I'm not being sarcastic, be prepared. That's not, anything that is done with signage is not going to stop the gore point from getting hit up there. It's going to take people slowing down and being aware of it. So I would just ask and seriously consider not putting in rumble strips up there. They're not going to do a bit of good. There's not a set of rumble strips in this town that have ever slowed down traffic. So I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Anybody else care to speak on a consent item? All right, bring it back to council.
Through the mayor?
Yep.
I move to approve consent calendar items 6 through 21.
Second.
All right, motion by Councilmember Kirchner, seconded by Vice Mayor Shaw. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There we go. Consent items are passed. Item number 22. And here he comes. Amendment to the use permit and alternative city council review.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Doug Libby with Development Services. At the end of today, we received a letter from a Bridget Barnes representing Stop the Dump. She submitted the letter, like I said, electronically at the very end of today. We printed it out and we handed it out to you ahead of tonight's meeting. Okay, so to get into this item, Recycling Industries Use Permit 1705 and Plan Development 1703 amendment. So we're here to determine whether to use the alternative city council review process in consideration of the requested amendment to the Recycling Industries Use Permit and Development Plan. Project site is utilized as a large volume transfer station at 1209 Putman Avenue. It actually has two addresses. The second is 140 Epley Drive. A little entitlement history. The site was originally established in 2008 by a use permit approved by the Planning Commission. The site was expanded by a second use permit in 2014. The most recent entitlements were approved in 2019 on appeal from the Planning Commission, where the City Council conditionally approved the use permits and development plan. Now, the Municipal Code, Section 8-5.7003F, provides an opportunity for direct City Council review of use permits and development plans. Now, factors to in order to use this process include the likelihood of a future appeal to the City Council if another review process is used, the public interest in expediting the review process, and any other items related to public health, safety, and welfare. Now, it's important to recognize tonight's item is not to consider the merits of the amendment proposed or whether to approve or deny the application, only to whether or not to utilize the alternative review process. The most recent entitlements did generate significant public interest and opposition and were appealed to the City Council. Combined with the requirement specified in Condition 60 that future modifications be brought to Council, City staff is bringing this item forward to determine if the City Council desires to utilize the alternative review process consistent with today's adopted processes. It's important to point out that if you choose to use this process, it requires approval by a majority of the City Council. Regarding public notice, staff did mail notice to those persons owning property within 300 feet of the recycling industry property for this item. We also provided electronic and mailed notice to the attorney representing the previous project opposition. So the recommended action, adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Yuba City, making the determination to utilize the alternative City Council review process in consideration of Recycling Industries Amendment to Use Permit 1705 and Development Plan 1703, as provided by Municipal Code Section 8-5.7003F, located at 140 Epley Drive. And that would conclude my comments, and happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Levy. Any comment from council? We do have some public comment. Speaker card from Bridget Barnes.
Good evening, members of the council. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Yes, I submitted the letter late this afternoon in response to the review of the staff report. I am here on behalf of staff Stop the Dump, as I was in 2018 and 2019 in the middle of all of the public hearings that were generated related to the application for that then current application for the use of the recycling transfer station. I'm just going to summarize the letter. You have it in front of you. First of all, I do, on behalf of Stop the Dump, want to thank the staff for bringing this to you so that you can make a determination tonight as to whether you will hear it directly instead of through the Planning Commission. That was one of the conditions that was specifically incorporated in the 60 conditions to Recycling Industries application, and it's one of the ones that they wish to strike as part of their current application. They also want to strike Stop the Dump receiving notice, as I mentioned in my letter. The purpose for me to really be here tonight is to ask you to direct staff not to set a date to bring this back for your consideration until staff can assure you that all of the current conditions in the application are in fact being complied with. This project was unique to the city in the sense that the developer requested and the city concurred with using a mitigated negative declaration procedure for the environmental reviews. And as part of that, the conditions were negotiated with the developer. Therefore, and they were intended to and must, under state law, ensure that there is absolute compliance, that there are no environmental impacts that are left as a result of the project. It's very different from an EIR, which, although an EIR can take years in terms of the process, in terms of the level of review by consultants and the city. Once it is, let's say, perfected and the city is prepared to adopt it, it allows more leeway to an applicant. That is not the condition in which that you're looking at your package at this present time. One of the conditions that it's my understanding, there's real question about whether or not the applicant is living up to is the host fee issue, which was also supposed to be on the agenda tonight, but was pulled by staff. Now this is based on my understanding. I have not been able to get the physical documents, but it's my understanding that the applicant opposed having it heard tonight so that the city could adopt a host fee when, and the reason was that they were concerned about the COLA costs. I understand that there has been significant delays if you look at the date of the approval in 2019, it's now 3 years since the host fee should have been adopted, and that is the methodology by which the city reimburses itself for its participation in ensuring that environmental compliance is taken care of. So I would ask respectfully that staff not bring it back to you until you have an assurance that all of the current conditions, including the host fee, have been formally adopted and that the applicant is in full compliance. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Thank you for allowing me to make this comment on this topic. As general manager of ecology for the last 3 years, I've enjoyed a professional relationship with the city of Yuba City and its staff.
Need your name for the record,
I
please.
apologize, sir.
Okay.
Rigo Diaz, resident of Yuba City, general manager with Ecology Yuba-Sutter, hold a franchise agreement with the city. So thank you for taking this step tonight to consider utilizing the alternate city council use permit review process to bring recycling industries permit change back to you, the council. This is one of the conditions placed on RI in 2019, and Ecology Yuba-Sutter continues to support the conditions that were placed on them back then. Although we don't have to be, Recology has been a good community partner as we've partnered with recycling industries and offer them disposal services at the Ostramo landfill. And that partnership still continues today. Their use permit amendment application calls for the removal of any conditions that were placed on them by the city council and brings into question the intentions of these requests. Recology is opposed to any changes in their permit and hope that they are held to the conditions that were issued to them in 2019. We please ask that you encourage staff to keep Recology informed on this process as it continues to go through the process of approval. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right.
Hi, my name's Mike Smith. We're neighbors with Dave in Recology, Unity Forest and Sutter Sierra. We own a property in 1979, Elmer, or pardon me, 1162 Putnam and 1200 Putnam. They're both industrial sites by the river. And I spoke for him in 2019. And with all the traffic and everything that's going on there now, they're a good neighbor. They keep their stuff clean. And I think it's a positive for Yuba City and the Sutter County area because a lot of the people that take their stuff, they don't have to go through Marysville now. And it is a positive transfer site as far as I'm concerned. So thanks.
And Dave, did you say your last name, sir? Smith, thank you. I apologize if I missed that. Anybody else care to say anything? Sir?
Hello, my name is David Cunin. I'm the general manager and property owner of 140 Epley Drive where the transfer station is. We call it the Ritz. It's the Recycling Industries Transfer Station, Ritz. I just wanted to comment to respond to a couple inaccurate statements. Number one, there is a host fee agreement in place right now. We've been paying host fees to the city. The agreement's trying to be amended, and we've been working with staff at their timeline to get it amended. And Recycling Industries did not pull or request to be pulled any item on the agenda tonight. We had nothing to do with that. We've been working back and forth. If it didn't make it, it's just a policy of how things get finalized before it hits staff and gets to. So we didn't ask for anything to be pulled tonight or anything on the host fee. And we support this process to go back to the council. I think it's the simplest way to do it and hopefully approve it so we can get back to council in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Nope. Okay, we can bring them up to council for a comment and a motion.
Through the mayor.
Yep.
I want to bring us back to the point at hand, which is whether or not we're going to handle it at the council level. If there's anything else going on. And, you know, Mr. Libby, I appreciate you bringing it forward. And we did put the process in a couple of years ago. But if we don't bring it straight to council, then we are dishonoring the word of the council and what the agreement was that was formed several years ago. We didn't form the agreement. They formed the agreement, and it was condition 60. It says it will come back to the council. And it's because if anybody remembers what we went through back during 17 and 18, you know, that's to to avoid having that all over again, you know. Things that's going on down there, you know, I've ridden by, it looks better than it did before, Dave, I will tell you that. You know, but questions are going to come up. That's come up tonight, but tonight is not the place or the time. This is about whether we're going to have it here at the council level. And I would remind everyone here that that was the agreement that was made. It does not need to go back to the planning commission. It comes here. Both parties agreed to it. So that's where it needs to land. And if this is just a formality because of our policy, great, but it has to come back here.
All right. We have a motion.
Mayor, adopt resolution number 22, adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Yuba City making the determination to utilize the alternative City Council review process and consideration of recycling industries amendment to use permit 17-05 and development plan 17-03 as provided by Municipal Code section 8-5.7003F located at 140 Epley Drive, Assessors Parcel number 54-083026.
Second.
I have first and second in favor of adopting the resolution. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? None. Thank you very much. Move it on up. Item number 23, Sutter Butte's Flood Control Agency consideration of the Sutter Butte Basin Regional Levee Improvement Program Levee Development Impact Nexus Fee Study. All right.
All right, Mayor, you have me once again. Okay, so I'm really just teeing this item up. Brief history from 2007 to 2021, Yuba City had adopted and collected a flood protection fee. It was in mid 2021 where the City Council rescinded that fee with the understanding that the Sutter Buttes Flood Control Agency, or SBUFCA, would be establishing a regional impact fee for the entire Sutter Butte Basin. And they have done that work. They are back now before you to discuss that. Ahead of this meeting, while working with SBUFCA, we did some outreach to the development community. We held a public workshop in these council chambers late summer. We invited everyone in the development community that we had access to. People could participate either in person or virtually. And so we heard that feedback, and then now we're bringing this forward. And I should note that, for this item, there's several member agencies, and Yuba City is the last agency to consider this. So the counties of Sutter and Butte and the cities of Biggs, Gridley, and Live Oak have considered and adopted this fee. So with that, I would like to introduce Michael Bissett, the Executive Director for SBUFCA, and also Seth Wurzel, the Budget Manager with the agency.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Michael Bissett, the Executive Director for Sutter Butte Flood Control Agency. It's a real pleasure to be here tonight, and I want to thank the city manager and the city attorney and all the staff for helping us get to this point. It's been a fairly long journey to get here, so we're excited to be here tonight. So tonight, there's going to be one presentation. So myself and Seth Wurzel, the SBUFCA's budget manager, will provide the presentation, and then we'll have two public hearings. So open up the first public hearing, see if there's comments, conclude, open up the second public hearing. So that's the process for tonight. A little background, Sutter Butte Flood Control Agency's charge. So our mission is to implement urban level of protection, 200-year level of protection for the urban areas in our basin, and also to provide 100-year level of protection in the southern portion of the basin. Both of these charges are reflected in Sebufka's strategic plan, which is adopted by our board, and also in the assessment district engineer's report. Up until, as Mr. Libby mentioned, up until June of 21, the city and the county had a development impact fee as part of your development impact fee package, specific to levee improvements. Prior to that date, the city reached out to Sebufka as part of your updated fees. When you guys were looking to update your fee package, you asked our agency to evaluate the levy charged as part of that fee package. So we did that work. I'm very pleased to report that after accounting for all of the revenues that we've had to date, the building out of the project to date, we were able to drastically reduce the impact fee. What was charged in the past for, say, a standard 2,000 square foot house was about $3,900. And we reduced the fee down to $900. So like a 72% reduction. And that's for a standard 2,000 square foot house. And there's other instances where industrial, commercial, and other residential has drastically reduced. And Seth will get into a little bit more of that information. In the meantime, once the fee was rescinded, the city was able to pass on the revenues that were received up until that date, which was about $1.7 million to Sebufka, and we're able to use that into our program, use that money into our program, and we're advancing other levee improvements with those fees. And as Mr. Libby also pointed out, we've reached a milestone where all of our member land use agencies have adopted this fee. So we're pleased to report that to this council tonight and hoping for the same outcome. Fingers crossed. So why is this fee important? As I mentioned, we're still in the process of, we have achieved our 200-year level of protection. We were able to pass that and pass that on to this city and the other cities in the north. And that allows development to continue. We're still working on delivering the 100-year level of protection to the southern portion of the basin. We advanced the urban area protection first. We had to protect the most people and property. That's how we advanced our program. But we're still building out the levee improvements in the south. Also, in addition to delivering 100-year level of protection, which we're still working on, we still have to recertify these levees in the future. Every 5 years, you have to recertify to 200-year level of protection. So that's part of our mission to produce that and achieve that milestone and deliver that to our land use agencies. Also, these revenues will help pay for any minor improvements that need to occur in order for us to achieve that 200-year level of certification. So that's another reason why this fee is important. If we're not able to produce that, there is a potential that future growth could be impacted. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to hand it over to Seth, our budget manager. Seth's going to do the heavy lifting here, and then we'll open it up for questions to the council and then move on with the hearings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael, Mayor, members of the council. Seth Wurzel, budget manager for Sutter Butte Flood Control Agency, and we are, my firm, Larson Wurzel and Associates, is the principal author of the Nexus study that's being presented for council approval. So the concept for the regional levy impact fee is to cover the entire Sutter Butte Basin. That was the reason why, as part of the update, we've gone through a process of having each of the member land use agencies of Sutter Butte adopt the fee. The other major update to the fee was to consider the full scope of Sebufka's levy improvement program, taking into consideration Sebufka's charge from its adopted strategic plan and the engineer's report supporting its assessment district. So you can think of a fee base as a quotient, simply the numerator or the cost of the fee program, with the denominator being the development upon which those costs are allocated. So part of the impact fee concept is to look at how much development will occur throughout the basin. That numerator, that quotient, that numerator, the costs, needs to work with respect to all the other funding funding that the agency has. So really what we're looking at is the total cost of the program less any other funding that we've received, including specifically the assessment district. When Yuba City's fee was adopted, it was prior to the approval of the assessment district. So the fee program, and part of the reason why the council rescinded it, I believe, was because it didn't fully consider all the other funding sources, the assessment district and any other grant funding. And so that's the main purpose of this fee update. Again, the amount of funding to be expected to be generated considers the assessment district, existing grants, and an assumption for future state and federal cost sharing on remaining work that we have yet to complete, namely work in the rural portion of the basin, the Sutter Bypass East Levee. The expectation is that we would continue to receive state cost sharing on that as well. So as I mentioned, the fee boundary covers the entire Sutter Butte Basin. This is essentially the jurisdiction of Sutter Butte Flood Control Agency. When we prepare a nexus study, we have multiple requirements that we have to comply with. Namely, the first one is AB 602 is the most recent legislation. One of the things that's the big difference between the prior fee and this fee that we're proposing today is that the fee is going to be charged on a square foot basis. The prior rescinded fee was a fee per unit. This was a bill that was primarily advanced by housing advocates. The housing advocates felt like it wasn't fair to charge smaller, more affordable homes the same fee as a larger home, and so the requirement now is to charge a fee on a per square foot basis, or provide a justification as to why you're not advancing the fee that way. In this case, we are. The other thing that we have to do is prepare a nexus study, and there's certain procedural requirements about noticing, and we've complied with all that noticing with respect to AB 602. The main fee authority, though, that land use agencies can rely on is AB 1600. This gives the authority to impose the fee, and it requires that the council make certain findings regarding that fee, identify the purpose of it, identify the use of the fee, and determine the relationship between the fee and the type of development. And this is how we come up with the different fee rates for different land use types. Not going to get into the scope of the nexus study, but that's essentially the item before the council today. And the study goes through and develops a proportionality for each land use type. Again, the basis and the costs of the fee. SBUFCA's levee improvement program, when we look at all of the work that we need to do under our strategic plan and what was identified in terms of levels of flood protection for 200 a year in the northern portion of the basin, 100 a year in the southern portion of the basin, as well as the compliance programs to ensure that we can maintain an urban level of flood protection. We're looking at about $625 million worth of projects. We've completed well over $300 million to date, but we still have quite a bit more to go. The revenues, when we take into consideration SBUFCA's grants that it's received, the actuals to date, and projected cost sharing on the remaining improvements, is about $604 million. So we're mostly funded. We still have more to go, and that's the basis for the fee. The $21 million is that number in the numerator of the fee quotient. Plan development, what we did was we looked at the general plans of all of the member land use agencies within SBUFCA's jurisdiction. We were aggressive in terms of the amount of plan development, looking out very far. Ultimately, a larger denominator means a lower quotient, right? And so we were aggressive. And so we were looking well out over 30 years, and we were looking at all of the plan development and urban reserve areas and the spheres of influence of all the jurisdictions, and trying to come up with a reasonable estimate that considered all development. And so this is the basis for our fee is about 6,000 acres of planned development within the basin. Ultimately, when we run through our calculations and come up with proportionality between each of the land use types, this is the resulting fee summary. So as Michael mentioned, the fee rate for a 2,000 square foot home would be about $800, less than $900. That's essentially what you're seeing here is this 428 on a per 1,000 square foot basis, presenting it on a 1,000 square foot basis because I think it's easier to say $428 versus 42.8 cents per square foot. So that's essentially what we're looking at, and that will be a fully burdened rate with administrative costs covered through the collection of that fee. And most of the development is single-family residential development that's planned in the basin, so that's why we're generally focusing on that more than the other fee rates. So in terms of how this program would be administered, the fee would be charged prior to the issuance of a building permit. Through the Nexus study, whatever the land use jurisdictions have in terms of deferral of fee collection, that's fine with respect, and that's reflected in the Nexus study. Again, the fee would apply to all planned development in the basin that creates a flood protection impact. That impact is being damaged as a result of an uncontrolled flood, being damageable property in the floodplain. If there is a way that development can demonstrate that it does not benefit from flood protection because it's above that base flood elevation without the project in place, for some reason it's elevated on stilts, it'd have to be pretty high up in this basin because without Sutter Butte's project, the floodplain in Yuba City is well over 5 to 6 feet for most areas. And so, or if you had like a ring levee or something around you, if you can demonstrate that you don't benefit from flood protection, then you would be exempt from the fee. Given the cost of the fee relative to what it would cost to provide that flood protection or elevate, I would suspect that most development would rather pay the fee than do what it would take to be raised out of the floodplain. The fee will be charged on a project's building square footage, and we're looking at conditioned space, that area that would generally be severely damaged as a result of a flood. So carports, garages with no conditioning, that doesn't have as much damageable property as what is inside the building envelope. The way we would administer this, Sutter Butte has the Sabufka JPA Board of Directors adopted this fee, adopted a collection agreement, and then each of the member land use agencies, we're asking them to use their land use authority to impose the fee and enter into a collection agreement with Sabufka. We would have our deferring collection of this fee until it's effective throughout the entire basin. So essentially, in order for the ordinance to become effective, it needs the 60-day, two readings of the ordinance, and after that second reading, 60 days to become effective. And so this would be, after a public hearing, this would be the first reading and public hearing on the ordinance. That's the second item on your agenda. And then 60 days after that, it would become effective throughout the entire basin. All of the other land use jurisdictions are waiting for Sutter Butte or for Yuba City for it to be effective before they collect it. So it's contingent on Yuba City's consideration of this. So the recommendation, next steps, one modification to this slide. Again, we're doing this presentation once. There's a requirement in AB 602 to have a hearing on the Nexus study itself, and then a requirement to have a hearing before the adoption of an ordinance. So that's why there's two items on your agenda. The legislature, in its infinite wisdom, when approving AB 602, didn't consider the fact that you still have to have a hearing for an ordinance to be approved. And so the statute requires a hearing before a Nexus study. So in order to be compliant with state law, recommending two hearings. So that's item 23. No need to do the same presentation for item 24. Item 23, requesting that the council adopt a resolution approving the Nexus study. And then item 24, after your hearing, consider a resolution adopting adopt the ordinance, adopt a resolution approving the fee, and then adopt a resolution considering the authority to approve the collection agreement and delegate that authority to the city manager after council review. So that concludes my presentation. If there are any other questions, I'm happy to answer them, as Michael mentioned.
All right, thank you very much. Any comments before we go public hearing? All right. Public hearing for the Sutter Butte Flood Control Agency consideration of the Sutter Butte Basin Regional Levee Improvement Program Levee Development Impact Nexus Fee Study is now open. If there are any members of the public who would like to address the council on the issue, please provide your statement via public comment and state your name and address for the record. Do we have any comments from the public on this item? Step up.
Yeah, I'm Dave Cunin. Our property's at 140 Epley Drive. So if I followed all this, if I just understand, I could appreciate a little clarification. Has the study already been completed and this is the proposed rate so much? And so, and that would be for how long? I didn't quite gather that. How many years or how long that would be?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a one-time fee on new developments. It's a fee as a condition of a new building permit. So it's only a one-time fee for construction. So wouldn't be.
So it's not on an existing.
No,
okay.
Only if it's a fee charged to a building applicant for a new permit. Okay.
It's all good. Anybody else? All right. So let's see here. Hearing no further comment, I'm closing the public hearing, bringing the matter back to council. Go ahead. For action.
Through the mayor to the city attorney, is this one of those ones we have to read everything?
No, the only one you have to read is item 24B. Everything else can be adopted by reference.
Okay. Well then, through the mayor. I'd like to go ahead and introduce a motion to, or introduce an ordinance, make a motion to introduce an ordinance of the city council of the city of Yuba City.
Pardon me, I'm so sorry. We're still on item 23. They're together, but they're separate.
Thank you very much for that clarification. I guess I need some of that cookie. I'm not sure, but yes. All right, let's try this one more time. On item 23, through the mayor, I'd like to move that we adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Yuba City approving the Sutter Butte Basin Regional Levy Program Development Impact Fee Nexus Study.
Perfect. Second. All right, well, first and second to approve the resolution. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? All right, motion's passed. So we'll move on to number 24, which is Sutter Butte Flood Control Agency Regional Levy Improvement Development Impact Fee Ordinance and Collection Agreement. Welcome back, Doug.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Just wanted to clarify. So this next agenda item is to introduce an ordinance, and its goal is to basically establish the wording in our municipal code for the fee and the procedures for collection and transfer it to Sabufka. We're then asking for adoption of the resolution, which would actually adopt the fee itself. And then finally, adopting a resolution delegating authority to the city manager to execute the collection agreement substantially in the form provided to you in your staff report with Sabufka and the member agencies. I do want to point out that with regard to the ordinance, that staff is proposing the fee be applicable to new development projects that complete discretionary entitlements. We're talking about subdivision maps and development plans after the effective date of the proposed ordinance. So projects which have existing approved entitlements completed before the effective date of the ordinance would not be subjected to the fee. So with that, that would conclude my comments unless you have any questions. Thank you.
No, I think that's reasonable. Any comments?
Through the mayor.
I do have who said that.
That would be me.
Go ahead.
I just want to take a moment, not necessarily on the last item, but as a member of Sabufka, acknowledge the work that Michael and Seth have done and the patience they have shown their Sabufka and the working relationship with the city of Yuba City. I think at some point or another, I think it was us that kind of said, hey, let's get everybody else on board before we move forward with this. And I just want to acknowledge their efforts and their patience in working and getting this done and look forward to a positive vote here so that we can move it all forward. Thanks.
Very well said. Thank you. And go ahead.
And Mark, you beat me to it. Michael, I noticed you got it, you timed it for when it's raining, which I think was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But just to echo what Mark said, as just a citizen of this community watching how methodical Sutter Butte Flood Control Agency is, and having lived through 3 evacuations and understanding that we do live in a floodplain and we're very vulnerable, and levees are built by man. Okay. I appreciate what the work that you've done with this and put into this, and support it. So thank you.
Through the mayor,
Sir?
I've got a question. Your model for the fee, and you're looking at 6,000 acres of development basically in this area, and you got a 30-year projection. Was that modeled out to 30 years? Because okay, you may get 100 acres done this year and nothing done in 10 years, and then you're at the 30-year, and you've got a fee that was established in 2023, and now you're looking at 2053. Was there a model for this fee? You taking those considerations?
Yeah. So within the fee study, we in the Nexus study that was approved by the council, there's a methodology that's laid out in an appendix that talks about how we reviewed the general plans of each of the jurisdictions, Butte County, Sutter County, and all the four cities, and looked at their horizon for those general plans and try to normalize them around, their a common date. Each of the general plans has different timeframes, but normalize them around a common date for purposes of establishing that denominator in the quotient.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Go ahead and have the public hearing. Public hearing for the Sutter Butte Flood Control Agency Regional Levy Improvement Development Impact Fee Ordinance and Collection Agreement is now open. If there are any members of the public who would like to address the council on the issue, please provide your statement via public comment and state your name and address for the record. Do we have any comments from the public on this item? Hearing no comment on the issue, I'm closing public hearing, bringing the matter back to council. And if you noted, we do have to read B, but C and D can be moved by reference.
Through the mayor.
One wants to read it.
I'd like to make a motion to introduce an ordinance, the city council of the city of Yuba City amending Title 8 of the Yuba City Municipal Code by establishing a new Chapter 11, the Sutter Butte Basin Regional Levy Improvement Program Development Impact Fee and procedures for the collection and transfer of fees to the Sutter Butte's Flood Control Agency and waive the first reading. Just B?
That's B, and then you want to?
And then also a motion to approve C and D.
Okay, and also in addition to that, adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Yuba City adopting the levy program development impact fee to be collected for authorized development per the ordinance, and adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Yuba City delegating authority to the city manager to execute the collection agreement substantially in the form attached with the Sutter Butte's Flood Control Agency, the counties of Butte and Sutter, and the cities of Biggs, Gridley, Live Oak, and Yuba City.
Second.
All right, first and second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? None. Very good. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Moving on to number 25, the Baines Butte House General Plan Amendment, 23-03, rezone 23-03, environmental assessment 23-06. Welcome back again.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right.
Okay, this is an item that was previously recommended for approval by our Planning Commission back in September. As you can see, this is a general plan amendment and a rezoning. This will be our fourth general plan amendment of the year. State law allows for 4 amendments to a general plan in a calendar year. So, as I said, purpose is to consider the amendment and rezoning 2303 Baines Butte House project. This is a project site is 0.32 of an acre located at the northeast corner of Butte House Road in Blevin. There was a home there at one point, so it does have an address, although the property is vacant today. Address is 1879 Butte House Road. No development is proposed at this time, so this is really just changing the colors on the map at this point. There's no recent entitlement history. Several parcels to the east of this one were rezoned back in May of this year as part of our general plan housing element implementation project that you'll remember back in early May. Looking at the map on the right side of the screen, You see the project site and the land to the east that was already general planned for high density residential. And then this applicant is asking for the same thing. Existing general plan density ranges 6 to 14 dwelling units to the acre. Proposed is 12 to 36 dwelling units per acre. Rezoning going from R2 to R3. I think one of the reasons for this general plan amendment and rezoning is under the current zoning, you're only allowed to do like a duplexes. And so we think that they have a desire to do something a little larger, possibly like a fourplex or just a small apartment complex on the property. We do estimate, based on traffic, that probably 4 to 6 residences likely could be developed on the property. Changing the general plan designation from a medium density to high density on such a small parcel, in theory, could allow 11 residences. And the reason why we say in theory is because that's just doing the basic math problem. But when you have a property which is on a corner, kind of irregularly shaped, when you start factoring in things like setbacks and open space and improvements that are going to need to be made, it whittles away of how much land is actually available to develop. So we don't think the traffic impacts to adjacent roadways are anticipated due to the limited number of homes likely to develop and the required road improvements associated with the development. And what we mean by that is the perimeter of the property is on a corner, Blevin on the west, Butte House on the south. They're going to have to come in and dedicate land to the city, make full city improvements along both roadways. That's going to, one, improve the intersection at that location, but it's also going to reduce their developable land that they have there. Now, an environmental assessment was prepared in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act and the guidelines. Based upon the assessment completed, mitigation measures were proposed for the categories of geology and soils, greenhouse gases, and tribal cultural resources. These are standard mitigations you see on many projects. As a result, staff was able to conclude there's no evidence in the record the project could have a significant impact on the environment, and a mitigated negative declaration has been recommended by the Planning Commission. As you know, with anything that we do on the land use side, we must make findings both on a general plan level and zoning. These findings are reflected in your resolution and the proposed ordinance that's before you. The recommended action: conduct a public hearing, make the necessary findings to adopt a resolution of your council approving the environmental assessment by adopting a mitigated neg deck subject to the mitigation measures, approve the general plan amendment, redesignating the property from a low medium density residential to medium high density, and then also introduce an ordinance approving rezone 2303 to rezone the same property from an R2 zoning to an R3 zoning, Baines Butte House project at the northeast corner of Butte House Road and Blevin Road. With that would conclude my comments. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have questions from any of us up here yet? Comment?
Yes, please.
Go for it.
So Mr. Libby, thank you for the report. I think you're probably aware of the concern for the congestion and the traffic at Butte House and Blevin Road. I think this is consistent with many intersections in the northwest portion of Yuba City, affectionately known as District 2. And so I'm quite interested in making sure that as this thing moves forward, based upon comments that I've received from constituents who have to navigate that Blevins Road, Butte House intersection, including myself, is that, we do what we can, and probably at some point we need, I'm respectfully requesting, that we continue to explore the alternatives as we move Butte House, Elmer, Aurora Ranchero, moving south to all those intersections now that as we continue to approve either new zoning or new development, these are issues that I think are important for us to make sure that we get communication and information out to the residents that may be affected. And again, I applaud what you have done here in regards to signaling the fact that it's probably only going to be a 4 to 6plex. That information allowed me to report back to constituents who were concerned. It did seem to alleviate some of the concern. However, we all know what's going on at that Blevins and Butte House intersection. So, Mr. Mayor.
Through the mayor.
Yes, sir.
This Terrabuena thing is just starting to snowball. We've got those county roads that we've taken into the city, and my concern is, as well as Councilman Baumgarten's, that we keep trying to impact this area, I think, a little bit too much, and I can see the concern from constituents. So yeah, anything we can do to push to make this work, I think is the most important thing. So thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to public hearing. The public hearing for the Baines Butte House General Plan Amendment 23-03, rezone 23-03, and environmental assessment 23-06 is now open. If there are any members of the public who would like to address the council on this issue, please provide your statement via public comment and state your name and address for the record. Do we have any comments from the public on this item? Seeing none. Hearing no further comment on this issue, I'm closing public hearing and bringing the matter back to council. Please note that we can refer to action item B by reference, but we have to read C. I know you all know how to read.
Mayor, so moved to, where are we, 25, introduce an ordinance to the City Council of the City of Yuba City approving rezone RZ 23-03, rezoning 0.32 acres from the two-family resident R2 zone district to multiple family resident R3 zone district for the Baines Butte House project located on the northeast corner of Butte House Road and Blevin Road, assessors parcel number APN 059-020-013 by title only and waive the first reading.
Through the mayor, would that motion also include staff's recommendation on item B for the resolution?
That as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? None. All right. Good job. Thank you very much. You too. Moving on to item number 26, annual report from downtown Yuba City Business Improvement District and proposed levy of annual assessment for 2024, presented by Diana Langley.
Great. Thank you, Council. So tonight before you is the annual report for the Downtown Business Improvement District and the proposed levy of the annual assessment for 2024. This is an annual process that we go through where this time of year we bring forward the report and then set a public hearing for a subsequent council meeting. This is a requirement per this is a requirement that we bring forward the annual report. It's been a long week, people, and it's only Tuesday.
I want to note that Diana finally broke character.
I'm sorry.
That's
I will
notable
pull
right
it
there.
together now. Okay.
All right.
All right.
For that.
So the annual report outlines accomplishments for 2022, 2023, the 2024 directors and committee members, which just to note, there's a new president, Ryan Hinshaw of State Farm Insurance. And so we appreciate everything that Sandy Drown has done over the years, and there is a new president. The proposed improvements and activities, the estimated 2023 expenses, the budget for 2024, and then the district assessment formula that stays the same from year to year. And so the recommendation tonight is to adopt the annual report and then adopt a resolution of intention to collect the 2024 annual assessments and set a public hearing for January 16th. Also to note, we will be bringing forward an ordinance modification to change how the fees are collected, late fees, so that the city becomes the collector of those fees. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Any comment from the public at all? All right. We can come back for a motion.
Through the mayor. I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution accepting and approving the 2023-2024 annual report of the Downtown Yuba City Business Improvement District, and also to adopt a resolution of intention to levy and collect 2024 annual assessments and set a public hearing for January 16th, 2024.
All right. And we have a first and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you very much. And now we're moving on to 27, public hearing number 2 for updating of city council member district boundaries for annexed property. Welcome back.
Thank you. I promise I'm going to be pulled together for this.
You're great. You're great.
Okay.
We're almost done.
We're almost there. All right. So this item is back in November, brought this before you because we've had quite a bit of annexed areas in the city. So to the southwest of District 4, and then also to the south of Districts 4 and 5. And so at the last meeting, we discussed the process to amend the boundaries to include these annexed areas. At that time, we had a public hearing in which former Vice Mayor Manny Cardoza spoke about his recommendation to split the annexed areas into Districts 4 and 5. Since that time, he submitted a map with his proposal, which I know has been distributed to council. Tonight is the second public hearing related to this item, with the remaining public hearings scheduled through January 16th, February 6th. We'll then introduce an ordinance on February 20th and then adopt the ordinance on March 5th. The mandatory criteria is that any annexed property must be added to the nearest existing council district and no other changes to existing council districts can occur. So with that in mind, staff agreed and with the former vice mayor, and actually this was what we had considered, was to annex this or include this area in District 4, this area into District 4. It's split by Highway 99 right here, and the east side of 99 goes into District 5. And so tonight we're requesting that council conduct a public hearing to receive public input on the district boundaries.
All right, good. All right. The public hearing for updating the city council member district boundaries for annexed property is now open. If there are any members of the public who'd like to address the council on the issue, please provide your statement via public comment and state your name and an address for the record. Do we have any comments from the public on this item? All right, seeing none, I'm closing the public hearing and bringing the matter back to council, which is information only, no council action needed. Okay. So we will go on to number 28, the appointments of city council regional boards and committees. Of course, my job as the mayor is to make those assignments. We went through those in detail. There weren't a lot of major changes, except I do know one here on the LAFCO committee. I have Councilmember Boomgarden as primary and myself listed as primary. That is, I am supposed to be listed as an alternate in that case. Other than that, there's some jockeying around due to personal requests and preferences and giving opportunities for other people to experience different boards and commissions, but it's pretty self-explanatory. There wasn't a lot of major alterations this time around. And I would like any public comment, if any, at this point. And seeing none, we can bring them back to council for comment and eventual action.
Through the mayor?
Sir.
Gill sizer on my name is twice. Is there two that I don't know of? Or is just one? It's fourth item down and then sixth item down. It says Gill sizer drainage district, Gill sizer drainage district.
They're doubling, yeah.
Okay.
You gotta get twice.
Well, I was just wondering.
It's a good question. I think we can remedy that pretty easy.
Okay, just typo. Fine. Fine.
Typo, Sierra? Yeah. Okay, no worries. That's good. All right.
Through the mayor.
Yes, sir.
Since we've had all the drama, we can stand tonight. Move to approve these assignments.
And Vice Mayor Shaw, would that be with the clarifications as noted?
With the drama included, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. First and second to approve the council regional boards and committees assignments. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And oppose? None. Do we have any future agenda items anybody would like to request? Good. Okay. And see, reports and communications. Following reports and communication items are provided for the council's information. No action can be taken on items under this section unless the council agrees to include it on a subsequent agenda item, starting with city manager.
All right, thank you. I just want to commend the Community Services Department for their breakfast with Santa this last weekend and thank the senior commissioners that were there to make the waffles and serve the food, and also the youth commissioners that were there as well. So thank you for being there. Also want to thank all of the staff and council that was involved in the holiday truck parade. That would not be successful without everybody that puts so much time and effort into it. Sierra was a large part of that. Of course, Chief Alexander is the one that brought the idea to us, but thank you to everybody for that. We have a council goal setting session scheduled for January 30th, and that'll be during the day. And then I just want to also acknowledge as we come into Christmas and New Year's, there are a lot of operations within this city that are 24 hours a day, regardless of whether or not it's a holiday. And I just want to say thank you for all of those employees that work during those holidays. So happy holidays. Thank you.
Oh, very good. Thank you. All right. We'll begin with Councilmember Baumgarten.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Echo the comments about the holiday truck parade. Phenomenal turnout, at least in the district, and I heard it was pretty much citywide. And you can see the pride and the joy from the city employees with the increased decorations in the vehicles. And I think one of the best things I saw was several youngsters with actual signs saying thank you. I mean, it really was cool to see that. But I hope we can continue that. I know we will. Also, the city's winter celebration was an opportunity, even though I wasn't there to spend a lot of time, just, the opportunity to get everybody together in a social atmosphere to recognize the holidays. The Christmas stroll, an opportunity to go down there and help the mayor light the tree, and again, another well-attended event. And these are the things that bring quality of life to the city of Yuba City, and I really commend our city employees for their participations. Attended Sabufka. I'm not going to get into that. We spent enough time with them this evening. But again, they keep us dry, which is good. Did attend the ribbon cutting for the Blue Zones. They moved their office down to further south on Plumas Street. And, they're really doing good things in the community. And I had the opportunity to represent the city there. Represented the city at wreaths across America, 3,400 wreaths at the Sutter Cemetery. Kudos to Tom and Rob and Walter, who at least at the Sutter Cemetery, and I know others attended at other cemeteries, but they had a lot of people out there, and obviously there's a lot of veterans, but we were still short 600 wreaths, so we're trying to catch up for next year. I want to thank the council for the opportunity to serve you all as on the Revenue Ad Hoc Committee. This was likely, I think I mentioned earlier, this is probably likely the most important activity, at least to date, for my 5 years on the council, which has huge ramifications for this city on a go-forward basis, and certainly with the county. So I appreciate the confidence in allowing me to represent us in that. And with that, Merry Christmas to everybody. And a happy 2024. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, sir. Councilmember Kirchner.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to try to buzz through this as quickly as I can. It's been a long time since we've been here. I would like to thank the District 4 Fire Station for putting on the Veterans Breakfast. In addition to, I'm sorry, that was, yes, and in addition to that, the Christmas, the Pancakes with Santa, which I know the Vice Mayor was flipping pancakes at. That was awesome. Mosquito, things are really slowing down. It's that time of year. We did approve the annual audit for fiscal year 22-23. Of course, there was the transit first quarter budget report, in addition to the first quarter performance report and next gen facility environmental request for proposals. A lot of ribbon cuttings, Plan to Perfection, Bridge Street, which I'm sure everybody's excited about. Thanks, Mr. Moody, for your department, the city's involvement with that. That was pretty amazing. We attended the Shanghai Bend workshop. We're going through what those playground is going to look like, and some of the community showed up. Those that did provided valuable input. Of course, there was the Marysville Parade, ribbon cutting in Bombay Lounge, DBA installation, which we mentioned earlier. There's a new president moving forward. The winter celebration here right out these doors. The Christmas stroll, I got to tell you, it's easily the best one I've ever seen. Coming out of COVID, it was a little bumpy. This year was amazing how it was orchestrated, where we started on one side of Plumas. If you weren't there, we walked down the street. I mean, it was like the entire town was in front of that water tower when the mayor lit the tree, and it was like a rock. It was like a rock concert. It was just amazing. So kudos to staff and DBA for putting that together. Sabufka, this is pretty much what you saw. The biggest thing on the plate for them, for us, what you saw today was the passage of the fee. Gilsizer was canceled, and I would like to acknowledge the city's efforts and participation with the parade. I did participate in the District 4 parade. Everybody in District 4 seems like they showed up at Happy Park. The kids were excited. You saw it in their faces, jumping up and down. I'll just leave it with that. And don't forget about Waffle Wednesday tomorrow. And have a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
All right, very good. Councilmember Pasquale.
Thank you, Mayor. Duties, Homeless Consortium meeting, Zoom. We are going to transition from Zoom purgatory to personal meetings twice a year instead of the quarterly thing going on. I think being in the Zoom mode has gotten people lackadaisical, and they're not really stepping up and putting their heads together to get this thing resolved. Attended summer stroll. It was like Wade had said, it very, very well attended, and it was fun. And I got a few shout outs. There's Uncle Mike once again. Marysville Parade, I put our mayor at the time in peril because I showed up as Santa, and I didn't read the fine print. There was only supposed to be one Santa, and poor Wade looked at me like I was going to jump down his throat because I couldn't play Santa, but he wanted me to strip on the street, and that wasn't going to happen. So, Reese participated in Reese Across America at this Yuba City Cemetery. There are 63 veterans there that lie at rest there, all the way from the Civil War to the Korean conflict. And always it's a big reminder to people of why we're in this country, because of the sacrifices of others. And with that, happy holidays, everyone.
All right, thank you, sir. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll keep it short. But I do want to start off with something that you just said, Mike, that reminds me of an old saying. And if you ate today, think a farmer. And if you enjoyed your freedoms, think a veteran. That gets back to what you guys did. So attended several of the things that these gentlemen did, but most importantly, I had my wedding anniversary. So I was out of town until yesterday, treating my wife for putting up with me for 10 years. That's a huge accomplishment. I want to say thank you to our firefighters for allowing me to serve you on the day that you guys had the Station 4, because if you haven't seen the post, I think there was a post about it. We have a young fire department. They had like 15 babies, and they were all there. So, the greatest thing I thought that I could do that day was actually cook so they could spend time with their kids, because that's really what Christmas is about. I got meetings coming up, but I'm just going to close it with this. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
All right. A lot of duplication here. I too attended Wreaths Across America. Mike and I were both at Yuba City Cemetery. I think that was one of the best attended events at that cemetery that I've ever seen, which was very nice and I'd appreciate it. I attended Breakfast with Santa at Station 4, the winter celebration here at City Hall, Trees and Traditions over at the library, which is always a good event. They had a really good turnout as well. But essentially, I think pretty much every event this year has been very well attended across the board. We've already talked about the holiday truck parade. Young and old alike was just really thrilled to see the parade go by. It was really nice and wholesome, and it's nice to be a part of that. The Veterans Day parade over in Marysville, the Marysville Christmas parade, our own Christmas stroll, ribbon cuttings at Plan to Perfection, and the Blue Zones opening, and over at Taste of India. I attended the Citizens Academy graduation here in this chamber for the police department, they had a very good turnout, a very large cohort of folks went through that and received some recognition for their participation. Because I believe it's a 12-week program and they all stuck through it, learned quite a bit about our police department. The Senior Center annual holiday luncheon, I guess Tony's not here, but y'all were there obviously, and thank you for the invitation. It was wonderful. Always a good time over there. We've already mentioned the DBA installation of officers. That was good for them. Congratulations to our new president, Mr. Henshaw. And I also attended a breakfast out at Yuba College hosted by the president. What's her last name? Dodson. I know it's Tony, but Tony Dodson. It's kind of neat. She called it "You Need to Know," which was kind of a neat little hook to get everybody over there. She had a really well put together, PowerPoint with all the things going on at Yuba College, which I can tell you is that is a gem out there that I would love to be a part of to the extent possible to get the word out and everything that's available out there. They do really, really good things for our community. And I think that is it. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but thank you all very much. And I got to tell you, looking at our agenda, I am really surprised that we're done by 8. So Shannon does get to go home tonight. Isn't that amazing? His cutoff is 8 o'clock where he's got to stay the night. All right. Well, Merry Christmas to everybody. And we're adjourned. Thank you.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders or even yourself has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.